Now, Trump truth is dead on again. We must deport. This nonsense about wrecking communities, the illegals are wrecking our communities, committing crimes, draining the social safety net. We are a nation of laws, as the Donald pointed out Tuesday night, which is why stopping the president's unconstitutional action on illegal immigration is so important. Joining me now from our bureau in Washington, D.C., President of the Federation for American Immigration Reform, a.k.a. FAIR, Dan Stein. Dan, the Supreme Court, the Obama administration asking to take a look at the ruling from the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. First of all, what do you think the odds are of the Supreme Court accepting it? Second, do we know the Supreme Court justice who's going to be looking at this case?
Well, we certainly don't know that at this juncture, but we do know that there are some Supreme Court justices who will be very strident in favor of hearing this because they're going to be very compliant with the administration, right? Sotomayor and Kagan. We certainly know that they wouldn't hear the case until sometime, mid-year. They might, at the earliest, render a decision June, July, August, perhaps October. I mean, but ultimately what happened in the Fifth Circuit is a game changer. Because the Fifth Circuit reaffirming that this is unconstitutional and illegal, reaffirming the president does not have the authority to give out American jobs and work documents without any statutory basis, affirming that what the president has done is to ignore Congress and the American people, it's huge because it means that now Republican candidates have all this running room to basically pound the administration on his unconstitutional actions and his inability and unwillingness to work with Congress. Now, why it is that Jeb Bush and John Kasich and some of these folks think it's, you tell the American people it's impossible to enforce the law. We can't do it. And even if we wanted to do it, I mean, how does Jeb Bush know how many illegal aliens are in the United States? I mean, he doesn't really know that. But people were criticizing Obama for deporting over 1 million people and all of a sudden, a year, and all of a sudden Jeb Bush is saying, oh, we just can't do it. American people are tired of this we can't do it kind of stuff.
It's mind-boggling, Dan. It's absolutely mind-boggling what Kasich and Bush are saying about illegal immigrants in this country. And it goes against what I think the majority of Americans truly believe and want. But let's go back to the, by the way, I think on both sides of the aisle, I think the Elena Kagans and the Sotomayors would take the case, but I also think the conservative justices would want to take the case as well. But if it falls in Kennedy's hands or Roberts' hands, who knows? It's a wild card. But the merits of the case, I want to go back to the merits of the case and then go back to the point that you made that they actually brought in the Constitution on this ruling. The merits of the case, from what I understand from this, for the Circuit Court, was whether the judge's ruling in Texas was accurate, more or less. But the merits are the harm caused to these 25 states plus one, is it not?
Absolutely. And look, the most important part of this case is the affirmation that these states have legal standing, which means that the courts will allow them to bring a complaint. The Obama administration said, we can ignore the law because nobody has standing to challenge us. The courts would call it a generalized grievance, and historically they thought a court wouldn't hear the case. But in fact, the Fifth Circuit said, no, they do have a case. They can show direct injury. And remember, what Obama did wasn't just to not enforce the law. He's arguing prosecutorial discretion. I don't have to enforce the law. He did more. He gave out affirmative benefits, giving out American jobs, giving out work documents, and ultimately the keys to the kingdom, driver's licenses and everything else. Go with that. So the courts are saying, no, you don't have the legal authority to do this. We taxpayers pick up the tab. And the Circuit Court is saying it's likely that Texas and the other states will prevail on the merits. It would be very surprising if the Supreme Court took the case, and in the end, it's not going to save this administration ultimately from the huge political damage. And now, look, Hillary and Bernie Sanders, they've all, like the super chief going down the track, they're going to go, we're going to do more.
We're going to
be an executive who just usurps the Constitution. We're going to bring in millions of people. We're going to give them our jobs, give them our welfare, and nobody, unstoppable, nobody can stop us. This case is huge.
Fascinating, though, that the at least one, maybe two of the justices, it was 2-1 ruling in the Fifth Circuit, brought in the United States Constitution. And I think this is a crucial moment in time as part of the ruling. And they quoted a speech that Barack Obama gave in Chicago in November of 2014, where he essentially, legally, constitutionally shot himself in the foot. Roll tape.
You're absolutely right that there have been significant numbers of deportations. That's true. But what you're not paying attention to is the fact that I just took an action to change the law.
He just took an action to change the law. Where does it say you can do that in the Constitution, Mr. President? So here's the question. Does this ruling from the Fifth Circuit essentially render his illegal move neutered because it was just a matter of time running out for this administration?
Well, unfortunately, the politics of it are such that if Hillary Clinton gets elected or Bernie Sanders, remember, the only thing that stands between the American people and a rogue executive who starts bringing in millions of people without law, giving our jobs and our benefits away without Congress and the American people, are a couple of justices, a couple of judges, and a couple of justices on the Supreme Court who will stand between a rogue executive and our Constitution. The Democrat Party has not traditionally taken this view of unlimited immigration and unlimited executive power. This is all recent with Barack Obama. You go back to look at Hillary Clinton 20 years ago, she never would have sided with what Barack Obama is doing. The American people need a tight labor market. They need control over who comes into the country. And what we have now is one political party saying, the hell with the American people. We can do whatever we want. If it's going to help our party, we can bring in 100 million people. That is wrong, it's unconstitutional, and it's illegal.
Isn't it a shame also that the third branch of government is doing what the Congress has the authority constitutionally to do but is refusing to do? Dan, thank you.